Hello, I had a request to do a peach cobbler, and there are many variations, but the one I use the most, I use 2 cans of sliced peaches in heavy syrup. And what you do is you drain the juice, but you reserve it. Here I have a cup of sugar, 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of flour. To this mixture, I add a teaspoon of nutmeg and a half teaspoon of cinnamon. You're going to melt 1 stick of butter inside your, I use a 13 by 9 baking dish. And I also use pure vanilla extract. Can you see that? And this is a whole pint I get from Sam's for like $6. I've been had it for a while. And that is it. What you do is I'll come back and show you. Hold on a moment. Okay, here we are. We have the melted butter. Now you're going to take your 1 cup of sugar and your one cup of flour. You're going to add ground nutmeg and ground cinnamon to your flour. And some recipes don't call for this, but I just think it's sweet and buttery without any flavor without the nutmeg and cinnamon. That's just me. So I add this to mine. If that's something you may not like, you can skip it. And then you mix that together thoroughly. Once you mix that, you're going to add a cup of, now some people use whole milk, 2% milk. For this, I like either half and half or evaporated milk. This is a cup of evaporated milk. Stir that until it's well combined. I like to whisk it together. Hold a moment. Okay, when it's finished mixing, this is what it looks like. Remember, I put the nutmeg, cinnamon. I also put, I thought I had pure almond, but I had imitation, so I used that. And I also used, like I told you, my vanilla. So this is mixed thoroughly. So now we're going to pour this into the pan with the butter. And you do use butter. Do not use margarine. Salt or unsalted, that's whatever you prefer. Now on the flour, I didn't have self-rising. Works better with self-rising, but I had all-purpose. So with the all-purpose flour, I used a teaspoon and a half of baking powder and a half a teaspoon of salt. And that's whisking that together real good. That made it self-rising. Hold on a moment. Let me get all this out of the bowl. We're not going to waste. We are not going to stir this anymore. Once we add that, we don't stir it. All we do is add our peaches. And they have, remember, I did drain them. There seems to be a little liquor, but a little is fine. A little is fine. So when we place that in there now, what you do, or what I do, because I found that sometimes when you don't use any, it's kind of dry. So what I do is, and you may have to spread, I'm spreading it because I poured it with the camera, and I don't want it to be all confined to one area. And my hands are always clean when I'm cooking. Okay, and then now what I do is I do take and pour some of that drained juice back on the top. I just didn't want to add it in with the mixture, if that makes sense to you. Okay, I'm going to bake this in the oven on 350 for about 45 to 50 minutes. It just depends. And I'll come back and show you what the finished product looks like. I hope you enjoy it. Like I said, there are different recipes. You try through trial and error. You choose the one you want. But I'm going to tell you something. One thing I've learned. When you use, I know some people say, well, I buy the cheapest. Well, for me, cheap is not always better. Now here with these Del Monte peaches, you can't go wrong. I've never had a bad cobbler with Del Monte peaches unless I missed maybe I was supposed to use self-rising. I used all-purpose and didn't add the baking powder. But I have bought off-brand peaches before, and I'm telling you, it was horrible because they were not. Um, the peaches were just like I don't know. The taste and the texture was just off. Um, so I would recommend that you use Del Monte, Libby, something like that. I've had Kroger before; they were good. I've had Walmart; they were good. But some off brands, I'm telling you, I would stray away from them because you've invested money in your butter and your sugar and all and your flavorings, and then it didn't come out right. So, but anyway, I'm gonna come back with the finished product, show you what it looks like. Hope you enjoy. I wanted to share with you that I do also add a little nutmeg and cinnamon to the top of mine. And also, my grandmother used to make this. She's been dead since '83. Yeah, October '83 is my first year in college. But anyway, she used to make this peach cobbler. I didn't get her recipe, and I regret it to this day. Now I think what she did, and I've tried this before. I've used a little milk, and I used like half milk or half evaporated milk, like I used, and I also used evaporated milk. It made it a little sweeter, but it was a lot creamier. But what my grandmother used to do, she used to make hers in her roasting pan, and so it was creamy in the inside, but around the outside, in the bottom of it was like a little, wasn't tough, but it just it was different. It was really really good. I wish I would have gotten that recipe from her. So hold on a moment. Okay, this is the finished product.